everything, that I like the way, so, oh, we can do it. But as a dummy, I look at your financial status. Who's gonna pay for it, whatever you plan to do? Now, I know they talk about assessment districts. That's not really addressed. Who's gonna be assessed for what? What area? Okay? Now, I read what the Board of Supervisors approved, and in there it says, well, very little problems with it. Minimum consequences. But a lot of those minimum consequences for high density spoke on your behalf, folks. Water source, water pressure for the fire district, police, public service, and I would like to see you make it clear what you're capable of doing and what you wish for doing. It's two different things. Your good intention is great. I read the book, High Density Buildings, 600-700 pages. That was great for the East Bay, or maybe San Francisco. But these new general plans are not exactly designed for this rural area. We talk about a totally different animal. So please, when you say, oh yeah, that's a great idea, yes. But make sure your constituents is such a great idea, because those are the suckers who are going to pay for it. And you're promising something that's available right now, but today. You don't know if this drought's gonna last next month or 5 years. But assume responsibility, great. But who's assuming, who's gonna have the burden of financing it? Thank you.
Good point.
I would like to address Director Davidson's comment about the notice postcards that are going out. I saw the board's comment when they had discussion and action, and Peter was there for that discussion. And one of the board members was concerned about spending $24,000 to send out those postcards to all of the property owners. And all I could think about is, wow, we spent over $900,000 of the taxpayers' money, and we haven't really done much of anything. So what's $24,000 to send out to all of the property owners to let them know that there is a general plan update going on? So fortunately enough, the board was willing to vote to do that. So the next question I had is, okay, we have a date of March 20th, and for these property owners who are now, as I find out, they're not going to get the cards mailed out until tomorrow. And I would certainly hope that there would be some kind of an extension. I mean, it's really, really not fair to the property owners. And I understand that everybody wants to get it moving along, but it's just truly not fair. So I hope that Peter will approach the board and that the board will extend the time so that the property owners can make their comments.
Thank you. All right. Then you have your direction, you have your,
Yes, thank you.
got the consensus. Okay, item 5C.
I move for acceptance.
Poor Joel.
He got dressed up and everything. That's
Yeah, really. Look at that blue tie. I want one just like that. I think it's blue.
Are you colorblind?
I am.
Okay, next item, 5E.
5C,
No, I'm being funny.
discussion, excuse me.
Being funny.
Oh, sorry, I didn't catch that, George. Discussion action regarding authorizing contract with Paymentus Software for Customer Service Payment Program. Joel Metzger.
Good morning, good afternoon, Madam President, and members of the board. My name is Joel Metzger. I'm the Community and Customer Relations Manager, and I'm bringing a program to your attention that I think will be exceptionally valuable to this district. I've been with CCWD for a little more than 10 months now, and of all the things that I've observed and taken notes on, I think this will have one of the biggest impacts to improve our customer service. And as I walk you through this, and I promise to do this quickly because I know this has been a long meeting, I hope that you will share my enthusiasm for this program. Paymentus, as the agenda item says, is a software company that gives us a lot of different services, mainly payment options. They will process all of our payments. We are trying to provide excellent customer service as part of our mission statement. In pursuit of that goal to always improve our customer service, my team has identified a significant number of things that could be improved. And as we looked for different solutions to these things, Paymentus stood out among the rest as something that would meet most, if not all, of our needs for a reasonable cost. We did not just look at one company. I looked at about 4 or 5 different companies. I spoke to them, I did their demonstrations, and then we brought that information back and we analyzed it as a team. Another thing that's very important is any action we do aligning with the mission statement. We're looking to be cost conscious with anything that we do, and this is the most cost conscious option. Another thing that gives me a lot of confidence in Paymentus is that it's used by about 1,000 different companies across the United States. I've called about 5 or 6 of them who match our district's use and our programs, so it's an apples to apples comparison. And all of them recommend Paymentus and said that they were wonderful to work with, and they look forward to continue working with them. That gave me a lot of confidence that this was a good move for the district as well. And then, in addition, they said that it was a very stable program, and if they did ever have problems, the tech support was immediate and at no cost to the districts, and that they resolved the problems quickly. So that's another thing that gives me confidence. And I just want you to know that this was a thoughtful choice. We didn't rush into this. We spent about 6 months looking at different programs, and I sat down and my team sat down with the Information Technology Department, the General Manager, the Finance Department, the Accounting Department, and everyone is supportive of making this move to this program. So what is included with this program? And what I'm showing, all of these bullets are things that Paymentus is offering. The top list are things that we do not currently offer, and the bottom is something that we do offer to some extent. So interactive voice response, this is perhaps the most important thing that Paymentus is giving us, and I will go into what that is more, but it's a way that you can pay over the phone 24/7, and you don't need a customer service representative to help you. You can do that completely in an automated fashion. Also, automatic credit card payments, e-billing, e-checks, Apple and Android applications, business intelligence, and then what we do already offer that will be improved is outbound messaging capabilities such as text, phone, and email out to our customers, an online customer dashboard, and an online staff dashboard, which are the online services. So I'm going to go into each of these quickly. The interactive voice response is basically you can call a 1-800 number, or you can call the regular CCWD number, and you can select the I want to pay my bill option over the phone. Then this allows you to interact with a computer, basically, using your voice or the buttons on your phone to pay via credit card, debit card, or electronic check. This can be done any time of day, 24/7, any time of the year. Currently, it's Monday through Friday, and it's 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. that people could pay over the phone. This greatly expands our options. It also handles unlimited calls. It gives us some additional language options that we don't have, and it integrates into our existing system. Now, I don't know what results we're going to get right off the bat, but the other districts have seen between 40 and 60% reduction in call volume. One of the most important things for me is having a live person answer the phone calls that need to be answered by a live person. That's incredibly frustrating for our customers if they cannot talk to someone. If we can take the routine day-to-day calls of I'd like to pay my bill please, which take about 2 to 5 minutes to process by the customer service agents, if we could take those off their plate, they can answer a much higher volume of calls. And my eventual goal is whenever you call this district, you get a live person if that's who you need to talk to. I think that this is incredibly key and powerful to help us get to reach that goal. And there's also no charge for this IVR. Just to give you an idea of how much it can cost, there was a system by a company called Selectron, and they quoted between $20,000 and $40,000 to implement this sort of a system. This is being offered at no upfront cost or ongoing cost. Credit card payments is something we do not currently offer on a automatically recurring basis. We do take a one-time payment at this point, and you can pay online, you can pay over the phone. This would put the power in the customer's hands to go online and set up a completely customizable suite of credit card payments. That's something that is going to be beneficial to us because once people aren't having to think about their bill, it's going to increase the amount of times that they pay and decrease the amount of times that they're late. You can do it one-time payment without even creating an account. All you need is an account number and the street address, and you can make that payment, or you can create an account, and I'll go into the other options that that online login gets you to. And customers want this. Every day we get requests for automatic credit card payments, so it's something that we're responding to and listening to the public. E-bills is something that we do offer to some extent, but we don't offer a e-bill only option. We always send a paper bill no matter what. This would allow us to send a digital only if people did want to not get that paper bill. That could save us quite a bit of money. People like getting things in their email, and I want to make sure that we can offer all options to allow people to take advantage of that technology. It's faster, seems to be more consistent than the Postal Service, especially in light of the longer times that mail is taking in this county, and it's immediate. You can pay your bill.
I just want to say that that is one of the complaints that I get is people do want that service. They don't necessarily want to get a bill in the mail anymore. I think that's something that I get my emails from people complaining about. So
good to hear. So this will meet that need. This also can be sent to a mobile device, and either from the email or the mobile device, you can just click on a link and pay the bill directly from there. If you're signed up with an account, it's a one-touch pay for your bill. Very simple, very fast for the customers. E-checks is something that we do not currently offer, but is requested just as much as automatic credit card payments. People want to be able to pay by check over the phone, and we currently do not offer that because we've had some reconciliation problems with that. Paymentus solves that problem by giving us all the money from the electronic check within 48 hours guaranteed. Whether the bank gets it to them or not, they guarantee that money up front. Accounting was very thoughtful about whether we would want to go forward with this, and after talking to the Paymentus reps, they are comfortable with this now. Customers really want this service, and I'm very excited to offer it to them. And as I mentioned, the apps for the iOS system and the Android system, once they sign up, they can go onto this app and download it, and they'll have their CCWD information, whether it's their water usage or their bill and other things in terms of any messaging we want to get out to them. That'll all be right in their pocket, right on their phone, if they want to take advantage of that service. And then business intelligence is something that I, as a manager, am really excited about and looking forward to. We currently don't have a very good system in order to track how customers are paying us, when they're paying us, what method of payment they're using. Paymentus wraps all this into one big bundle and does it for you. We don't have to tell it what to do. It gives us the information, it creates the graphs. We can have much more information about our customers and how to better suit their needs with the business intelligence. So we're going to find out what the most common payment method is, what the common time of the month it is that customers pay, and it's going to generate all of it graphically, and it's going to come right to my desktop and my team's desktop. So I'm excited about those options. And then outbound messaging, this is the only thing other than the fixed rate for the credit card transactions that Paymentus would charge. This is an optional service. If we want to send text messages, emails, or outbound phone calls to customers, there is a charge, and you can see what those are here. It's reasonable, and this isn't something we would necessarily do on a regular basis, but in case of an emergency, it's a very powerful tool to be able to get the information into our customers' hands immediately.
do we have that ability now to email, it seems, or not email, but text or phone or call?
No.
We do have the ability to send out phone calls, but it's a process that IT, to quote them, is very complicated.
But I was kind of curious about the cost. Is it?
Right.
Because if there's an emergency, I know that I think that we have the ability to call people.
Phone only, no text, no email at this point. So this opens up a few more options for us. And Paymentus is going to give us some messages per month at no cost. use that, that would be a staff level discussion. We'll bring you updates on how effective this has been. And then this looks at the customer dashboard. Once they create an account, they're going to be able to see their water use for years in the past and what their bill is, and it'll be graphically represented so they can compare last year to this year. It's a good tool for customers to see how they're doing, and we can also attach all kinds of messaging to that website that they sign into. In terms of conservation or emergencies or drought, whatever we want to say, we can attach it there. If they don't want to create an account, they can go on to ccwd.org, click on the bill payment link, and within 2 minutes they can pay their bill just by putting an account number in and a street address, and it's that simple. And then the staff dashboard is something that we have now, but this will expand our options. This gives us all of our customer data saved as long as we want it to, shows when the payments happened, who made the payments, what the method of payment was, and we can cancel, void, or refund, and it's all searchable. So it's a very powerful tool for us to keep track of our interactions with our customers. We can also suspend individual customers from making payments if they've been a problem and have been bouncing electronic checks again and again and again. We don't currently have the ability to target individual customers, but there is a certain group that will cause us issues each month or every 2 months. And so what we can do is target them and suspend their payment options while keeping everyone else in business instead of having to take the entire system down, which is what we have to do now. This is a wonderful option, and my team is very excited about it. And so just let's look at the costs and benefits. There is no upfront cost or ongoing fees, and this kind of blew my mind when I saw all the other options and how much the implementation fee was and all of that. We're looking at Paymentus comes in, and within 3 months, we're totally up and running, no upfront cost. The only way Paymentus makes its money is through long-term relationships and a fixed amount per credit card transaction. In our case, that's $2 for up to $400 purchases, and that stacks if that payment goes up higher. That is the only way Paymentus makes its money, along with if we want to use their outbound messaging capabilities. Otherwise, everything is included. They're looking for long-term partners and long-term relationships, and that's how they stay in business. And based on the other companies I've talked to, that's exactly what they're doing. They build those long-term relationships. And I had Patty over at accounting look at a monthly estimate of how much this would actually save us, and she is estimating it's going to save us between $800 and $1,500 per month in fees when compared to Merchant Transact, which is our current system. It's amazing to me and very exciting that we can save money and offer this wide variety of additional services, and that we have the numbers to back it up. So that's why I'm so excited about this program. So the bottom line, we get more services for less money. Implementation, I know it's important to not just sign a contract and then drop the ball. Within 6 to 8 weeks, we'll have the system up and running. Very minimal resources on our side to get this thing up and running, and we're going to test it rigorously to make sure that we don't roll it out prematurely. We want this to work, we want customers to adopt it, and we want to make sure that it doesn't fail or is frustrating for them. And all the technical support to make sure that happens now and in the future is at no cost. And then finally, I will work specifically with Dave and the other management staff to make sure that we are keeping a close eye on this program and how well it's working, and that we're setting measurable goals, and that we're getting the information out to our customers to give them the information they need to adopt these programs. I will keep Dave and your board updated on this progress so you can see how well this program is working. I expect that we're going to have quite a few people want to take advantage of these new services. And that is the end of my presentation, but I'm happy to take questions.
Move for
Joel.
acceptance.
I got a question. How many transactions are you estimating initially per month?
I don't have that number in front of me, but if you'd like the detailed report that Patty prepared, I could get that over to you.
Just, email it to me.
Okay.
Is there going to be an email or message confirmation of payment?
Yes, there will.
As that wasn't included there, and that's an important piece to prove to the customer you did pay this bill. And
Right, with a reference number that they could go back and we could use to track that payment.
And I'm glad it will integrate with Springbook. That's a big deal.
That's huge, and one thing I didn't mention is we have about 6,000 accounts already created that will come over seamlessly instead of, oh, you have to go back and create a new account. That's a huge plus as well.
Okay. Are you concerned at all about the hold harmless agreement?
I have a very smart man who's reviewed it, and we've talked about it.
Mr.
and,
Lawyer?
We feel comfortable with it, especially in light of talking to other districts who have dealt with them and resolved some disputes with them. They seem to be a reputable company that is not trying to take advantage of you. Their main goal is they want to keep you as a customer.
If you sense issues with that, would you bring it back to us so we can know that it happens?
Yes.
For sure, and I think it's important to note too, that some of these other customers that have had a great relationship and really rave about the performance are within our own region. I believe South Powell PUD is one. Having been close to that agency for the last 4 years, they do an incredible job, and that gives me a lot of confidence in this. But yeah, definitely, if we see anything going any astray at all, or it looks like we need to revisit this, for sure, we'd come back.
I second Director Davidson's motion, by the way.
So
Well,
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, you go ahead.
So essentially then, we're about $18,000 a year less if I took the $1,500 a month or so,
Right,
between
this
what's
is-
being paid to.
This is simply an estimate, but yes, we'd be
big
looking
deal.
in that neighborhood.
Okay.
Congratulations.
I'd like to know, did they give you another option? I mean, 3 years, boom, that's a huge commitment. And I realize that you've done your investigation and everything, but, couldn't you do 1 plus and then go for the 2?
Yeah, that's a really astute observation. That's something that stuck out to me. Just to let you know, we did start with them asking for a 5-year agreement, and through negotiation, we brought them down to 3-year. The reason they ask for the long commitment is all they're getting is this piece of the credit card fees. If they put all this upfront cost in and don't have a long-term business relationship, they will never recover those costs. And so in light of that, I believe that to be a valid reason for a longer contract. So I feel comfortable with it.
Okay, so again, you're going to build on this 6,000 people that you have online right now. Question, I do monthly withdrawal from my checking account. How's that going to affect me?
That is supported by this. We would need to make sure that we had your information correct. However, we will be able to transfer over your existing, it's called an ACH, an automatic
right.
withdrawal, over to the Paymentus system, and it should be a seamless one. However, this is where the testing comes in. We need to run these processes through Paymentus and make sure that it's working. We won't roll it out until we know that it's going to be a smooth transition.
Okay.
One other comment then, in looking at e-bill here on the absorbed fee model, on the e-bill, there's no cost to us.
Correct.
Is that correct? Then maybe my recommendation would be that we encourage our customers to use that service if they're considering, multiple methods of payment. Because again, it's a savings for us.
You bring it up to the top on the screen so that the first click is going to be that click.
Absolutely.
Okay, you're going to have a personal campaign. Your staff is going to be informing the customers in person?
So the personal campaign would be either over the phone or when people
okay.
come into the office. My instruction to them would be anyone that you meet or talk to, I want you to tell them about this program, because I want to make sure our customers know what the options are. And it's so good for the district to have these people adopt these methods that I hope that we can have a high adoption rate.
The
So-
e-bill payments.
Yeah, okay. And so you just say in one of your agreements that it's estimated yearly bill invoices, 150,000. Estimated is a big word.
Right, everything is kind of a shifting landscape in light of the drought, and in terms especially how much consumption revenue we get. And so this is what the accounting department came up with in conjunction with Paymentus. And I can bring more numbers to you once we've gone through.
Well,
the
certainly,
months
certainly,
with
yeah.
them.
I just, don't want us to lose sight of those people who do not use a computer, probably not even use a telephone. So, just,
Right.
And Madam President, to that point, I think this helps us be more available to help those people, because I really, really appreciate the hard work that you've done on this, Joel. Put a ton of time in your team as well, but really to recognize the fact that if we can get people who don't want to have a personal interaction just to pay a routine bill, the opportunity to do that, and particularly to be able to use technology, and there are all a host of benefits because we can actually communicate with them now in that way as well. But that frees the staff up to really spend that time on the things that people really do need to talk to somebody about. And so and that's really what I want to hear about too, is coming out of this reporting back is their own experiences and how that has improved that. I know that when I was in with your group, that one of their frustrations was they felt like they wanted to have more time to be able to spend with each customer to really make it a more meaningful experience for them and have a better feeling about that they were getting the information they needed. But because of the sheer volume, having to deal with all these other routine things, it really made them feel like they had to push as quickly to get through calls. So I really would like to hear if that does in fact change with this.
So your staff of 3 is going to be adequate,
They are so
Adequately.
excited. They are so excited about this because right now they feel like they're drowning in calls, and we
Well,
can't
that's-
provide excellent customer service with that many calls coming in. So this is going to give them what they need in order to answer all or most of those calls. Yes.
did you have something else?
No, it's,
You just-
no, I was gonna say something silly.
Careful, careful.
Okay,
Something about the Pony Express in West Point. We're still gonna have that service.
okay.
Pigeons.
So we had a motion and we had a second, okay. And then I'm opening it up for public comment.
Great job,
So,
Joel.
Seeing none?
Seeing none.
Quick question. I usually like to look at my accounting, the bottom line. Is this gonna be a net gain or a net loss? Is that any of the personnel gonna be eliminated? Minor detail, because the automation gonna take over. I don't know, you never give me any figures how many times the customer wants to call and give somebody a hard time or complain, okay, basically. How many of those they have? Because, okay, those ladies out there intercepted it and handled it, okay? That's good. I mean, they might have more time. Gonna give you more time instead of that. But the bottom line is a net gain or net loss. Your staff cost is gonna stay. Well, I presume it's gonna stay. That hasn't been discussed.
Well, that's what I asked him, if
Okay.
his staff of 3 was going to
Stay.
stay.
Okay, so it's gonna be a net cost to you. Maybe for a better service, you can justify it, great. But the bottom line is, you're gonna have a net cost on this bill. Thank you.
Madam President, this is a net decrease in cost to the district because this replaces a service that we're already paying for right now that doesn't deliver as much functionality. And at the same time, it allows our staff to work on other things that we think are probably more pressing for us in the way of customer service that they otherwise couldn't have. But I want to be clear, this is not a way to try to push out staff or anything like this. It's simply to allow them to get their head above water, as Joel said, and do the more important things that we need them to do.
Other public?
Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm not surprised. You know, you guys made a good choice when you hired Joel, and he repeatedly proves that he was a good choice.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you. As one who likes to do everything on her computer, her payments, her bills, and everything, thank you. You're finally getting me there.
Okay. Any more public comment? Okay, so we wanted to call for the question. Mona?
Director Strange,
Yes.
Director Mills,
Aye.
President Underhill,
Yes.
and Director Davidson.
Yes.
4-0-1.
4 in favor and 1 absent.
Correct.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Whew. We're almost there, Jeff. Board reports.
Oh, I thought we were,
Madam
the one
Madam
item.
President, we have one last item, 5E,
Oh.
and that's discussion of the proposed change in the board calendar for April.
Oh. I crossed off the wrong one.
That-
Sorry.
No, hopefully this will be a real quick one. I don't, relative to the other items.
Well, we'll see how much public comment we have.
And I don't take the request to cancel the meeting lightly. I know, we show that we have a lot happening and the biggest challenge is to try to keep these meetings within a time frame that doesn't overwhelm anybody. But I think that we've got a lot of important things that are happening right now in this March in our committees and at our board meeting coming up. And particularly the effort to define our R&R project list and the funding necessary to provide for those projects, so that by the 25th of this month, at that board meeting, the board will actually be considering a project list for the R&R, for the 3-year project list, to give the green light that is the marching orders for staff. And then as well, to make a decision on what rates are necessary and whether there's an opportunity to do something about reducing future rate increases or limiting the impact to our customers to be able to pay for that. So that's been our effort right now. April, we will have a lot of our efforts internally are going to turn to work on the budget, and so we're going to be doing that. We'll be coming back shortly thereafter to the board to begin that conversation on developing the budget for the fiscal year coming. And with schedules, in particular, I'm going to be out the week before this March 8th, or excuse me, the April 8th board meeting. We still plan to have committee meetings next month and work through that, so we'll develop things that we can bring back to the board. But the request is to eliminate the regular meeting on the 8th and to hold the one meeting on the 22nd that's already on calendar. If anything were to happen that we needed to have another meeting, we could call a special meeting on 24 hours notice or emergency meeting if certainly if needed. And that's the request. Thank you.
All right.
Do we need a motion or just,
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we change our meeting.
I only have one concern, and that is that, as you know, the number of pending agenda items that have been requested, are we still going to be able to meet some type of a reasonable timeline on those and within the framework of what you're talking about here on this adjustment?
Yes, Director Mills, I believe we can, and I think the most pressing, I mean, there are a number of them, and I know some of them are tied to the work plan and the strategic goals that we came up with, but I think the most pressing ones are going to be dealt with between now and the 25th with committee and with the board meeting. Then I think a lot of the internal work is going to turn to the budget. There will be items that need to come back that meeting on the 22nd for sure. Some of the things related to potentially some of the just like procedures, the board procedures, as I noted in the GM report. That would give us an opportunity to work through committee and then potentially bring that to the board. But I think so. And again, if we need to have a special meeting, I mean, we could certainly do that, we would make that happen.
If you need to have more than one meeting of a specific committee to accomplish these goals, I would request that you put that, into motion quickly so that we can have the items presented.
Got it.
Yeah, I think that this kind of, we've had 4 months of being, or I have had 4 months of being in this chair, and 2 of those months now we've eliminated a second board meeting. I'm kind of okay with that, but at the same time, if that means that each individual board meeting will be longer and take more time, so be it. I need to prepare. I've got kids that go to places and all.
Well, one of the things that I wanted to reiterate, well, Dave shared the fact that our finance committee and our engineering committee are looking very, very closely at expenses and from CCWD in relationship to our rates. So that's taking a lot of effort.
Okay.
And so that's why the staff is up to here as they sit here shaking their heads. And so I concur with changing our
They're all salaried.
No, and thank you for noting that. I think that's important. I mean, and as well as in addition to those 2 committees, we do have Highway 4 and Legislative that are meeting now regularly, monthly basis. So we're trying to, that's part of the theories. We're really trying to use those effectively to be more focused on what we come here with. And so, trying to balance that and not just to have board meetings, but to really give you, bring the important things to you in a timely manner, that we work through the committee and we get it here. That's our goal. So.
What board policy items are we working on?
There is the director compensation item, which is coming back in April, at the board meeting in April. That's one, and as well the procedures for our meetings, which there's not a lot involved in that. I mean, but simply the fact that is set forth in our board policy. So to have a discussion on that, I want to make sure we follow the same protocol, and that's why I didn't bring it today, because it does require policy. So and that could be as simple as every facet of just running this meeting, which I feel like there's some, clearer picture of how we're doing that, but I want to make sure that we've recognized that and that's now captured in our board policy. I know we also had one issue about the timing of providing minutes for adoption by the board. That's within the same set of policies. We can clean that up as well.
And that should be the goal. It's a matter of how the board wants to direct these policies as to how they conduct their business. And by pointing out that these current policies, we're in violation in many little pieces that we do, it's just a matter of an opportunity to bring it into alignment of how we feel that it ought to be done. And by doing that, we're setting the example for everyone else that if we're going to try to enforce policy amongst our ratepayers, that we likewise want to be sure that we're fitting and agreeing to our policies and we do it the way we're saying we're going to do it.
Well, we also have to be mindful that we have to give staff a reasonable workload, and we have to prioritize their workload. We can't shove meetings, deadlines down their throat if we've got them working on too many things. So I just want to be sure that when we're talking about policy changes and stuff like that it's been vetted by the whole board and that the board is given authority to work on stuff. We can't have, we can't have a couple people taking something in a direction that the rest of the board isn't aware of. So just want to make sure that we're mindful of that.
And that's a great point. And to that, and to get further clarity on the discussion earlier, and Director Mills was asking for that to work through committee on the item on the policy regarding the meetings themselves. I know that the board compensation policy naturally would be a financial issue, and so that was squarely going to come before the finance committee and then move forward to the board. But is that the protocol that you would like to see all policies go through? Because, I mean, some probably don't have necessarily a financial component to them. I'm all in favor of working through committees. I mean, I like the idea of having that extra opportunity.
Well, committees can't set the committee agenda. I mean, the board needs to set the committee agenda
They make a recommendation.
of something that the board asked them to consider.
Within the scope of what that committee stands for, and so that would be the question. So maybe, I guess we don't have to answer that today, but if maybe I can, I'll work with President Underhill and Director Mills.
If we don't like the methodology for bringing all policy decisions through the Finance Committee, I just ask that we rescind that resolution that I mentioned earlier, so that we have the latitude to pass it in the direction we need to go.
The resolution.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar.
The 2011 resolution.
2011 that said that, in fact, said that all, okay.
Yeah,
Well, then
it was-
certainly if there's a resolution standing, then we
I
would
think
need
it's
to.
2011-09.
Well, anyway, are we going to
Okay,
cancel this
and we
meeting,
can
or what do
certainly,
we
I'll
do?
appreciate you highlighting that. I don't want to be at odds with the policy, so we'll add it to the list of policies to consider to deal with,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you make a motion, Director Davidson?
Most likely.
You have that?
I do not have a second.
I will second that. Just check.
Okay. Call for a public comment.
So my question is the resolution that mirrors yesterday's subordinate resolution, is that going to be on the March 25th agenda?
That is a direction, Madam President, that's a direction that I had, that's what I heard, and I was planning to come back with that at the next meeting this month.
Thank you. Thank you, Troy.
Thank you.
And we were at now,
All those in favor?
Mona.
Yes.
President Underhill.
Yes.
Director Mills.
Aye.
Director Strange.
Yes.
Okay. Board reports. We had
Terry, do you have
This is-
some?
Since the last meeting, I've been all over the place, LAFCO, a couple of times at the Board of Soups, a few Amarillo Water Agency board meetings, went to the Aqua Legislative Symposium on the 4th, was at CPUD's board meeting last night. UMRA's the advisory committee to the next meeting, and so I've been out there and We had the Highway 4 Committee meeting, and that went really well, and so continue to engage the county and my constituents, and working with the community plans in Peter's office, and it's been a challenge. But it's been fun.
And I guess this is what you call being fully engaged and representing your district, but this is the 20th meeting since we've seen you last. And the car is sure getting a workout. So I will just leave a list with Mona and with each director so that you have it. And on the back of that is also that resolution that was passed by the county yesterday, so that you have that for reference. And I very much appreciate you taking time to look at it. I've been meeting with UPUD. I went to the Tridam meeting in Oakdale when they first presented this drawdown of the lake, and then came back, spoke with Joel, and had a staff meeting after that. Economic development, a meeting, general plan updates in Valley Springs and Copperopolis, the Board of Supervisors, Utica Water and Power, Murphy Sanitary, Calaveras Taxpayers, several constituent meetings, Angel City Council, the Highway 4 Corridor Committee, Tridam Community Meeting in Copperopolis, the Angels Business Association Monday, and Board of Supervisors. So it's the more that you are out in the public's view, the more likely you're going to receive input and discussion on issues that are pressing to your constituents. And hopefully this is what they want, and if it's getting it done, as I make my decisions, it's all based upon that feedback that I'm getting from those constituents, and I really do appreciate their openness and honesty. There was also an article in the paper that George gave me, Sacramento Bee, March 8th, Sunday. Special perks for some boards, water districts say they attract talent, but it also spends some time talking about what directors get paid. And they did quite a research article on it. It's very good if you can take the time to look it up online, or I can give you a copy of it, because it ties along with our director compensation and benefit package, and how that reflects to all of the other districts that are surrounding us. So, thank you.
I like Terry and Dennis. I'm attending a lot of meetings, and one of the feathers in our cap was the Highway 4 committee meeting. We had
First time in what?
first time in, I don't know when, well, okay,
It's
Mona
over.
might know. Couple of years, yes, we had
It's the
a,
first time that we didn't get darts and arrows thrown at us.
we had 7 organizations represented, and we had a good 35 people meeting, and they're just eager to join forces with us, which is very refreshing, and all get together and get some of this Proposition 1 money, because we do have the projects, and 84, if we can squeeze any more out of 84, but the turnout was just wonderful.
Great participation.
Wonderful participation.
Thank you for being there.
Oh, thank you. It was a pleasure. I really was, I mean, I think it's the start of some rebuilding of some very strong relationships we're going to have. I got the sense that a lot of fine people who just have the same cause, the commitment. And we just need to look beyond the boundaries of our districts and really see how we really need to stand up and work together.
Well, particularly during this time of drought, everybody's looking at the same factors, and so there is, who did say, Terry said strength in numbers? Yes. Director?
I have nothing.
You want to go home?
Any information? Future agenda items?
I would like to see some discussion at some point in the future, not necessarily the next meeting, but to bring back this inline hydro opportunities, looking at what Amador Water is doing and the immediate return on investment, and understanding that we've got one of those topographically challenged areas, or probably a number of them, and the opportunity to not only increase revenue from that, but to decrease our electrical costs. So.
And they were identified at the meeting Thursday night. Some of them were identified.
So I think that would be good for us to either have a workshop or something that really focuses on that, but not to overload the plate right now.
Right. So next board meeting, Wednesday, March the 25th. The following one is canceled, and then we come back Wednesday, April 22nd, unless there is a need for another meeting. Item number 8, closed session. 8A, conference with legal counsel, threatened litigation, Government Code 54956.9, one case.